Yo, what is up, everybody? KO here, also known as KO King, and welcome to the first episode of my new series, NBA Chats, where I, as an avid NBA fan, like to share my opinions pertaining to happenings in the NBA, as well as hear yours. So, today's episode, I'll be discussing the Golden State Warriors and their star, Stephen Curry. Recently, the Golden State Warriors have been on fire. They're right now, which is March 4th, 2016, they're sitting on a record of 55-5 with 22 games remaining in the season. And that's a ridiculous record, not only just for basketball this season, but in the history of basketball. So, this has opened up the idea as to whether the 2015-2016 Golden State Warriors may be the best team of all time. And that's a pretty high standard to set them on, comparison to other teams, other great teams in history, such as Bill Russell's Celtics, Larry Bird's Celtics, Magic Johnson's Lakers, Kareem's Lakers, the Shaq and Penny Magic, LeBron James Heat, just to name a few. And you can't forget about the GOAT, Jordan's 95 and 96 Bulls. But even though for a long time, everybody has accepted the fact that the 95-96 Bulls is the greatest team of all time. They finished the season with a record of 72-10, which doesn't seem fathomable. But as of this season, the Golden State Warriors are on pace to break that record. They're on pace for like 73, 74 wins, something ridiculous. And personally, I think the Golden State Warriors, they are close to being the greatest team of all time, but I don't think they're there yet. And this is my reasoning. Yes, they might have tied the record, for the home win streaks, which is 44, which they tied with 95-96 Bulls. And I think they'll actually break that. And additionally, they're on track to break the 95-96 Bulls 72-10 record. And if you just go based off of those standards, they have greater record than them. They basically perform better than them, so they're great. But I think otherwise. See, the way I see it as is that the Golden State Warriors, the 2015-2016 Golden State Warriors, they might end up with a better record. They might end up with having better statistics. But I feel like in order for Golden State Warriors, this season Golden State Warriors to be considered the greatest team of all time, I personally feel that they need to become a dynasty. And in order to do this, they won a championship last year. They didn't win this year's championship, as well as the year after. They didn't pull off a three-peat, maybe even get a four-peat. Who knows? But until they do that, I feel like they can't be considered the greatest team of all time. Because even though you might consider it based off just one season, the way that people will view it is that it's a product of multiple seasons. It's a product of the whole team as a get-go. It's a product of the Stephen Curry era Warriors. Like the Jordan era Bulls are, simply put, one of the greatest, if not the greatest eras that any player ever played on their team. So, if you look at it in another standpoint, Bill Russell on the Celtics won 11 championships. If I'm not mistaken, 6 of them back-to-back, and then they won 5 back-to-back after losing one year. But simply put, if you just take one of those seasons out, I feel like their team wouldn't be considered so great. But when you consider in a standpoint where they won 11 championships, that makes their whole team dynamic completely change. And for that reason, I think the Warriors are not the greatest team of all time, or at least at the end of the season won't be the greatest team of all time, but they're on track. Give them another 2-3 seasons. If they win some more championships, you might see me back here again discussing the greatest team of all time, the 2015-2016 Warriors. So, the other topic I would like to discuss with you guys in this episode, staying on topic of Golden State Warriors, is the star Stephen Curry and whether Curry is the greatest three-point shooter of all time. And this argument has also popped up recently due to the three-point revolution in the NBA, as well as Curry's ridiculous shooting. But I don't know if it's too much of an argument, because I personally think that Curry's hands down greatest three-point shooter of all time. And his position will only get further solidified as time passes. Because right now, I feel like there's only a few players that some might argue is a better shooter than Curry. And that would be Reggie Miller, Larry Bird, and Ray Allen. And all three of those great shooters have really changed the three-point game in basketball But I feel like Curry's advantage is the fact that he's having the same effect on 3-point shooting as Jordan had on basketball. When Jordan really played, the reason why he's truly considered the greatest of all time, despite other players like Wilt Powell having 100-point games, is that Michael Jordan really changed basketball. He made basketball a thing. He made it popular. Like, he made people want to be like Mike. And in today's society, you could probably say the same thing about Steph. Everybody go play ball with people. Everybody wants to shoot like Steph. Everybody wants to have the scat like Steph. People want to be like Steph. And I feel like that's the main reason why his 3-point game will be considered the greatest of all time in comparison to others. Like Ray Allen, Larry Bird, Reggie Miller. At least I wasn't born around the times when they're in their prime. Well, actually, for Ray Allen, I was born around that time. And same thing with Reggie Miller. But at least I wasn't watching basketball around the times where they're in their prime. But I'm not too sure. I'm pretty sure they didn't have the same effect on shooting as Curry did. Like, I'm not sure people play basketball like, oh, I want to shoot like Ray, but who knows? But I know for today's society, Stephen Curry shooting game is just magnificent. You can't refute it. He's broken records. He broke his own single season record this season and probably will pack on another 43s, if not like 53s this season. He tied Kobe's record and the other person's, I forget who he is, the other person's 3-point record with 12 3-pointers in game. You see him pulling up from 50, as Stephen A. Smith likes to say. So I feel like it's an irrefutable fact that Curry's the greatest 3-point shooter of all time. And I feel like as Curry's career continues, because in my opinion, I'll say Curry's just entering his prime. As Curry's career continues, like when he's 4 years old, assuming he's playing when he's 40, you can't forget how to shoot. So Curry's 3-point game will only further develop. And I feel like for that reason, I honestly feel Curry will break the career record for most 3-pointers. Like, as in, he made the most 3-pointers over his career in comparison to all others. And I feel like, basically, when somebody will think of a 3-pointer in the future, people will think of Curry. They'll think of him to be the greatest shooter of all time. And, I mean, hey, people are comparing him to see if he's one of the greats or if he's a GOAT. Maybe he'd be a GOAT 3-point shooter. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If there's anything else you guys want me to discuss in the future, make sure to leave in the comments. KO King signing out. Airball.